Okay, so the record is started now. So we are going to start with the operating system. So as per this, you have to start with the hardware part, but operating system will cover a few more things of these things also. So that's why I'm giving two shots operating system, two parts. I'm going to separate it. So I'm trying to explain. What is an operating system, guys? Different type of operating systems are there. Okay, so different things about operating system are there. So what is the use of this operating system? Okay, so actually I have a PPTs are there. So then also I can use that old thing, but still for your batch I'm creating mostly it is. So when we are starting 26 AUG 2020, that's the date where we started. So this is just a preview only, not exactly. So you can skip this one. So later I will add or remove few things from here. You just keep one track of what you learn, guys. It's a very basic question is what did you learn in your training? What did you learn in your training? Okay, so that is a one important question. That's why we have to put a track what you learn clear about the topic. Like for example, I said I learned cloud. Then people are asking about all cloud definitions, and then about what is blob or what is S3, what is EVC or what is VPC. Then if I don't know that one, so that's different, right? So then you have to tell how to watch mark your learn. You have to tell about it. Yes, here it is. In this PPT, I put a small point, a picture here it is. That is also very useful for understanding. What is that picture it is? Okay. So this picture representing what is an operating system. You have a hardware. Hardware means your computer hardware, right? So CPU, RAM, memory, all hard disk and everything. You have a computer, and on top of hardware, we install operating system. On top of hardware, install operating system. Different type of operating system, like your Windows 10 is there, Windows 8 is there, Windows 7 is there, Linux operating systems are there, Ubuntu operating systems are there, Mac operating systems are there. You have a mobile phone, mobile phone, mobile phone only. Hardware part is there. How it is works? Either it is installed with Android one, or some Tanzu, Tizen, or Mac OS, sorry, iOS. So some
iOS.
operating systems should be there. iOS, Apple. Okay, so your operating system should be there. Why? Without operating system, it is very difficult to interact with your hardware. Interact with your hardware. You don't know what to do with your hardware also. Okay. Next, I'm running an application, right? This is the web browser. This is the web browser. This is PowerPoint presentation. This is Microsoft Teams. Okay, this is Microsoft Teams. This is the paintbrush, right? These are all applications I can able to use because of the operating system. Because of the operating system. So without operating system, so we cannot get these many things. Here it is. What is an operating system? Is a software which act as a interface between end user and computer hardware. So operating system is between your hardware and user. Of course, I got this one of the question from in a comments also there. So that is also we'll see that one. Okay. What is an operating system, guys? Operating system is nothing but a program. Nothing but a program or a software which is in between your hardware and the user. Okay, and user. So this OS interact with your hardware and interact with the user. So user easily interact with your hardware through the operating system only. Every computer must have at least one operating system run other programs. Without operating system, we cannot run different programs. Okay. So application like Chrome, Microsoft Word, games, etc. need some environment which will run perform its task. OS help you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak the computer language. Yes, understand. Reading PPT is very easy. Okay, so but understand this thing, guys. Computer hardware. Hardware means CPU, RAM, hard disk, BIOS. Okay, keyboard, mouse. So many are there. But basically, the computer understand language is low level language, means like a binary language. It's a low level language understand by general computer, which we don't understand. Okay, which we cannot able to understand. So only the hardware programmers can able to understand. Only those people can understand, but we cannot understand. So computers are used by several level of people. Several level of people. It means like a school student. It can be a school student. It can be a college student, IT, non-IT student. It can be a student is IT student or a non-IT student. Okay, a business professional, sales executive, trainers like me. Okay, so data processing person. Okay, web developers, software developers. These are all not required to learn how to do the coding from low level language. So how to interact with the computer? We are interacting with the computer with a high level language. So all our C, Java, all these things comes under high level languages. We can understand high level language, but we cannot understand low level language. Computer cannot understand high level language, it can understand low level language. So which is helping to convert this high level language to low level language is your operating system and respect to applications or softwares. Okay. So OS help you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak with the computer language. It is not possible for a user to use any computer or a mobile devices without having a operating system. Without having a operating system. That is in general, guys, this diagram. So this diagram we draw to explain about a operating system. Mainly, whenever you are attend Linux based or Unix based classes, like Unix classes or Linux classes, so you'll get this kind of explanation like what is kernel, what is shell, what is the difference between kernel and shell kind of stuff. You are trying to do that. Okay, but it is a universal formula. Every operating system has a kernel and a shell. Not only Linux and Windows operating system, sorry, Linux and Unix. Windows, Mac OS, iOS, or mobile operating system, whatever it is. Operating system means it is a mainly two important thing is one is a kernel, another is a shell. Look at here, guys. So I will draw from. I'm not going to copy that on this part. So here it is. So this is internal circle, which is I have hardware means my CPU, my RAM, hard disk, any IO controllers. Okay. So I have a hardware part. IO controllers, lot of thing, keyboard, mouse, whatever it is, guys, it is a hardware. It is a hardware. So the hardware part, this is a good looking. So this is my hardware part. So which is interact with your hardware directly, the hardware layer understanding language, we need it, right? So they're like I am from Telugu person, okay? I want to speak to a Marathi person. So which language I have to speak? Either Marathi or any common language, right? He cannot understand Telugu, I can't understand Marathi. So better to find any common language like English language. I'm from Telugu. In our classroom, we have a different people, right? Some may be from Tamil Nadu, some may be from Andhra Pradesh, some are from Karnataka, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, or UP, Bihar, okay, Bengal people also there, right? So what is the most common language between all? Is the English language. Okay. So the point is not that one. So that it is my point is here. Okay. Not a translator or interpreter. The point is the hardware understandable language speaking one is your kernel only. The kernel speaks hardware understandable language. But why it is sticking to front? Is it not going back? Send back. Yeah. Okay, look at here. So this is the kernel understandable language. So we'll put a name here. It is kernel or a kernel. Some people say it's a kernel. Some people say it's a kernel. Okay, so maybe some people, but I understand it is a kernel way. So what is this kernel? Kernel can understand this, how to speak with a hardware. Next one is shell. So here is the point is you can easily say shell, sorry, kernel interacts with the shell interacts with the user, kernel interacts with the hardware. Okay. Shell interacts with the user and user programs, user and user programs. Okay, and kernel interacts with the hardware. So how it is happens, so then also we can try like this. Yeah, if you want extra, then also we can put it like this. Otherwise, not required. So here I am writing, here it is a user. Okay, so user use this shell to interact. Okay, next, what are the things like applications? Your applications, users runs an applications. Not only an application, it is also run the commands also, right? Here it is. When I put a command kind of stuff, different type of commands I am putting. Okay, so services, it understand what kind of service it is running. Application related services, drivers. No, drivers are belongs to kernel. Drivers are belongs to kernels. Okay. So guys, point is here it is. So how many are there? So I putting an arrow. User interact with the shell. Shell take that information and give it to the kernel. So the kernel understand what is the requirement, and kernel will give you information to the hardware processor. Once process is completed, one process is completed, then again it is give the information to the kernel part of operating system. Kernel give it to the shell, and shell finally display on the screen. Displays on the screen. So this is like that. User interact with the shell, shell to kernel, kernel to hardware. What is this kernel will do, guys? Kernel will interact with your hardware. Kernel manages. Kernel manages hardware management. Now I connected my mouse. So how my operating system understand? If I move my mouse, it should be moved like that. Because of operating system, kernel department is directly interacting with the hardware. So then it will take the commands from user and you do as for that one. Okay, you do hardware management, meaning is like a disk management. So how to create a partitions, what are the my hard disk is there. Okay, where is operating system, where is MBR records or GPT records. Okay, like that one, these are all comes under disk management. Process management, so we are running a lot of commands are there, no? So these are all process only. Web browser is a process, paintbrush is a process, notepad is a process, PPT is a process, right? So lot of process running in my PC. These process are given to your managed at a hardware level only. Scheduling the process means which process should give a more priority, which process we should give a less priority. Okay, so the management of process, network management, memory management, these are all mainly duties of kernel part. So what is the shell part? Shell part is interact with the user, providing user interface, providing user interface, running user applications, right? You are running an application, the application is running because of your operating system. And different type of shells are there. In generally, if you are using a Linux or a Unix operating system. So mostly used shell type is bash shell, born again shell. Okay, born again shell. It is a little advanced shell than born shell. Okay, and other type of shells are there like a T shell, C shell, K shell kind of stuff. But most popular and currently using shell is born again shell. Okay, guys. So No, 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 no. Why? So last time when I'm talking, so that time people are asking, oh, sir, what is a user interface meaning is like this. Okay, so here it is information about user interface is CLI and user interface. So basically, these shells, bash shells, the shells are basically CLI mode. Linux, Unix are a CLI based operating system. What is CLI? Command line interface. It means whatever you do, what are the things you want to work with your computer, you should do by command line only, like this. Okay, only command line. You have to give, you want to check the IP address, command line. You want to create a user, command line. You want to do disk partition, command line. Okay, everything in a you do in a command line only. So that is a command line interface. It's a text based interface. Next one is graphical user interface, or Windows is a graphical based user interface. Generally, Windows operating system is a geo based operating system. Graphical user interface means we can interact with your computer, we can do the settings, we can install something, we can change things like if I want to check the IP address, I could do graphically. So go to ncpa.cpl, adapter settings, right click, status, details, then I got the IP address. Okay, so I want to forward a file, I want to send a mail, I want to browse a website. I can do it because of a graphical user interface. So what are you do it? You do it directly with a direct interface, not with the CLI. Okay, Windows operating system basically GUI based operating system. TUI. What is TUI? Text based or a terminal based operating system. So generally, now it is not there, but earlier the option is there in a Windows also, like this. Sometimes for a few works it is very difficult to deal in a CLI. So they include, so there is a certain things they include here, like if you remember your Turbo C, how the options are there. Similarly, for saving and compiling and okay, in a Linux Unix operating system, this TUI mode of interface is introduced. You want to know about what is TUI? Simply type TUI Linux. Not this one. Like this. Not exactly like this. This is a TUI based. In a Windows also, Windows servers like a nano servers, server core operating systems, like your BIOS kind of stuff. Okay, also this TUI type is also there. So it's a basically direct options are available. You have to select those options, and you can able to do work like this. This is the another understanding of TUI. TUI Linux, and I am trying to say uh, network related. Here it is. These are the network related, how to configure IP address statically. Okay, this is the network related TUI screen, NMTUI, like that kind of screen. So you can able to do it without switching to GUI mode of system. Still you can able to do basic things. That is a TUI. So CLI basically Linux Unix, CLI based operating system. GUI means graphical user based operating system. Windows is a graphical based operating system. Understand guys up to now? What is kernel and what is shell?
Yes, sir.
Very guys, two type of operating system plus there is a three type of operating system are there. Depends upon so what you feel about operating system is there. Here it is. Simple operating system. Simple operating system. Again, it is very big. Okay, no problem. Operating systems is a basically simple operating system, network operating system. Okay, so what is simple operating system, guys? Simple operating system is basically your desktop-based operating system. Okay, MS-DOS, Microsoft Windows 10, Windows 7, Ubuntu, Ubuntu desktop, Ubuntu server is there, Ubuntu desktop is there. In a Linux Mint, so not only this, there is a several Linux distributions also there. But simple operating system means for a single user interaction purpose generally, not to give any kind of network services through network. Network operating system NYS, SOS, NYS. The network operating system. Network operating systems are like a server operating system. Windows server operating system, Linux server operating system, Unix based server operating system. Unix based server operating system. Okay, so this is a two important type of operating systems. Next, operating system based on a number of users can able to log in and number of uh, tasks it can able to perform. So you can see single user, single task operating system. Single user, single task operating system. Example is DOS. So how DOS screen is there? I open CMD. Similarly, the DOS screen will be there like that. Okay. So single user, single task operating system. So example is MS-DOS. Only one user, only one work we can do at a time. Single user multitask. Single user multitask. What is single user multitask? Only one single user, but it do multiple things. Multiple task means I am running web browser, Microsoft Team, PPT, and Paint brush, right? So this the Paint is running, PPT is running, and this is my team is running, browser is running, and WhatsApp is running, right? Like a multitasking I'm doing in my PC. But how many users are logging currently? One user only. In Windows operating system, only one user at a time can able to log in. Okay, only one user to the PC can able to log in to the PC. For example, in my PC, I have a 10 users are there. In my PC, I have a 10 users are there. So what you can able to log in with the only one single user only. So it is a single user multitask. Multi-user multitasking. What is multi-user multitasking? Someone send a message. I didn't read it. What? Yeah, this is. I'm not saying like mandatory means compulsory. These questions only come. These questions won't come. I'm not telling guys. but these are a very general basic questions they ask. Okay, general questions. So multi-user, multitasking, Linux and Unix based operating system. Linux and Unix based operating systems comes under multi-user, multitasking. Meaning is one Linux PC, multiple users can able to log in directly as well as indirectly. Means remote users can able to log in, multiple remote users can able to log in, and directly also we can able to log in the Linux. That's it is a multi-user multitasking type. So another type of operating systems are we'll go back to this server desk OS and desktop OS differences, but meantime just general things we'll cover. Mobile operating system. Mobile operating system. So what are the mobile operating systems are generally which is useful for your mobile phone. Mobile phones, tablets, mobile phones, the tablets use operating system. So more mobility required operating system, not required more power. It's not a more powerful operating system, but it is utilized for mobile phones. Mobile phones are tablets. Example, Android, more popular, cheaper, free. Anyone can able to develop like a open source type as you know. iOS, Apple, iPhone, iPad use iOS. Symbian, Symbian is a Nokia mobile. Symbian is a old style Nokia. Still it is using or not, I don't know. But in a old style Nokia basic mobiles and as well as a future mobiles, smart mobiles also there. Before this Android came into market, so there is a two mobile operating systems are there. One is a Windows phone operating system, Windows phone operating system, and Symbian. Like you take a Nokia communicator that time, they use Symbian. HTC mobiles, initially HTC mobiles use Windows operating system. Okay, so of course Windows, Nokia also used Windows operating system for a Lumina series, but totally it is disaster. Disaster meaning is different guys. It is not pick up as the world requirement, and the cost is also minimum 10,000 is the starting price. But Samsung launched Android phone with a 6,000, 6,500 suddenly. So obviously all mobile phones are gone down only. Okay, HTC, those mobile phones also gone. Okay, next one is BlackBerry. BlackBerry is from such in motion, so the people started to build their own operating system for a mobile phone that is actually say first mobile operating system kind of stuff only. As we compare to nowadays operating systems, BlackBerry is the first mobile operating system, like Android and this thing. Okay, of course Windows phone is also there. Tizen, I think Samsung. Okay, Samsung use that kind of. Okay, of course personal for certain devices or certain not devices. Okay, here one I got a one question related to the operating system. One guy is given a comment. It is loading very late. The guy is asking a question. So without a traditional operating system, can I work on it like that? I will put it. This question I didn't understand. Can I capture Android traffic like URL embedded video with the netstat kind of stuff? Why he is mixing? I don't know. So here some problem. So then I try to solve it. The guy is given a I don't know what is understanding. It's hardware related. Yeah, he's asking. Can we make a bootable application with a computer language that can use BIOS function to use and communicate? okay, communicate with the hardware components to load and run execute files. This executable files does not need to have a special environment of OS. Yes, we can able to create like this. So this is the answer. It is we can do it, but how to do it is depends upon you, because operating system is nothing but a program or a software. Okay, depends upon your requirement. So already I told hardware understand low level language or assembly language. You know, earlier days of OS is built based on assembly language. Assembly language is there. Okay, to when you know in my engineering and as well in my diploma, we learn about a processors, 8085 programming, 8086 programming, and microcontroller programming we learn. So how to program this processor using assembly language only. These commands are there. Move a comma 5. Okay, add. Okay, sorry. Move b comma 10. Add b. Add b means add it to a. Add b. B means add to accumulator or add a comma b. Then it is the answer is 15, right? So then result, the result is you have to go to the result a display. So there is a one small display like a LCD display will be there. Okay. So this is the called assembly language. You have to feed the assembly language to the processor. The processor will do as per your instructions, understand and do it. This not very low level language, but it is still it is directly convertible into hardware. You know, to do this thing also some people are suggest direct, like you know, nowadays we are getting a Arduino Uno. So Arduino Uno board, and there is a computer. You create a program here and burn the program information into Arduino Uno. What is exactly your burning? Hex code of this your program. Your program information in the form of hex code only you are burning. This is hex code understandable by hardware, not your program in your laptop. Okay, so this is a more. Okay, so like that you can execute like you can write a program as per your requirement. You don't require a traditional operating system. What is traditional operating system? We are using Windows 10. Traditional operating system, it is used for all type of devices or most type of common devices, right? I cannot build my own operating system, right? So what I will do it, I'll purchase a Windows operating system, or maybe I want a Linux operating system. Okay, like Ubuntu operating system, I like that one. Okay, so these are a build and distributed operating system. Anybody can use it, those operating system. But what is this real-time operating system? As I showed that question, the answer is real-time operating system, guys. So, for example, a person is build a hardware for his purpose. Build a hardware. For example, satellites are there. Satellites, or maybe missiles, or some certain purposeful, like in some industry-related devices. It is a device and you need an operating system to interact with it. We can give some commands, so then operating system will understand and convert those command or instruction into the hardware understandable and give it to hardware. Okay, that is operating system. So what we are doing it, instead of taking traditional operating system in a scientific area, industrial areas, Okay, in a scientific areas and industrial areas, research areas, they will create a real-time operating system. Real-time operating system is basically like a automation related industries use real-time operating system. So they don't follow traditional operating system. Traditional operating system for basic needs like a word process, Excel, PowerPoint, web browser. These are all common tasks for a people. Traditional operating system means common operating system like this, Windows or Linux or operating system. So special category operating system. So you design a hardware, you build a operating system according to your hardware. You have a hardware, you build an operating system according to your requirement and your hardware. Now recently the new electrical bikes are came into market, right? Vola, Ether. What is their device? They are having a devices, right? So complete digital display is there, and I think Ether also shows the route map. You can feed your route map into that screen, so it will show how to reach the destination. Route map is also showing, right? So point is how it is working. It contains some operating system, some operating system. So what they will do? So they design a hardware, they implement a hardware, and they implemented operating system for that operating system. They are not using any Windows or Linux or operating system or Android. Android also for a common operating systems on, not device based. This is real time operating system. So this is a small part. Then I will give you a break. So as we discussed earlier, in operating system, there is a two type of operating systems are there. One is SOS, another one is NYS, network operating system, and network operating system and a simple operating system. Simple operating system is basically tends towards the desktop operating system. What is the desktop operating system? Is basically to run basic applications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or VLC player, media, data processing, playing games, web browsing, audio video. Multimedia means audio video only, or managing audio video kind of stuff, or a client, or we can say end user device. What is the desktop OS? Desktop OS is a basically it is for a user direct purpose only. Next one is server OS. Next one is the server OS. What is this server OS? Server OS is example is Windows servers, Linux, Unix are a server OSs. What are the use of this server? It is support some applications, server based applications and some application, but server OS not used for a desktop purpose. Understand guys? Server OSs, like I have a Windows server 2019. I want to use it for my daily desktop activities. No. Okay. So why? Because in a Windows servers, we cannot do gaming. We can't do multimedia. We can't not for basically web browsing. Server operating system is costlier than desktop, but we cannot do anything. We cannot do anything as we do in a desktop OS. Okay, in a server operating systems, we cannot do as we do in a desktop operating system. Then what is the use of this server OS? It contains a certain features. It runs the server-based applications. For example, Exchange server is an application for a mail server. Okay, it is used for a mail server, Exchange server. It is an application. We can install this Exchange application only in a Windows servers only. Windows servers only, Windows Server operating system only we can install it. Okay. SCCM, SCVMM, SEOs, like lot of applications can only install on the server OS only. Okay. Some applications we can't install in a server OS. Okay. So desktop support is for a user purpose, basically for application, games, data processing, multimedia, web browsing, programming, playing games. Client for a server or a end user devices. So server OS will provide a certain services. Server OS having a certain built-in features and support server-based applications. What are these services of the servers? What are different type of servers are there? Okay. So DHCP server. DHCP server. You are getting an IP address to your mobile phone or your laptop from your router. Means router act like a DHCP server. DNS server. All communications by names only. All communications by IP address, not names. But we are using names only. See, I'm using a name to communicate with this website. But I need an IP address to communicate. We'll give a IP address, DNS servers. VPN server, I'm directly using, but if in case in my corporate office, I have an infrastructure like a database server is there, application server is there, some web server is there. I want to interact it from my home. So if I'm there, I can directly interact. I'm here, I cannot interact to my infrastructure remotely through internet, which is a helpful VPN server. Next is a web server or application servers like IIS, Internet Information Service, Microsoft Service. It is IIS, HTTPD, Apache HTTPD, Apache Tomcat, Glassfish, okay, JBoss, Wildfly. I like that. So there is so many are there. So it is a web server. What is a web server will do? It provide a web pages to the client. File server, you can upload and download files use through file server. Mail server, email communications. Application server, sorry, mail server. Authentication server is like Active Directory, centralized authentication. You are getting authentication server. Proxy server. So you want to communicate outside of your network with a different IP address. The proxy server will help you that one. Remote desktop server. Deployment server I will tell. So there is a 10 computers are there. You want to install operating system. So it is difficult to install 10 systems at a time. So what you will do through network, we can deploy operating system. That is a deployment server. Example is WDS. Guys, that is the difference between server and desktop. Okay, desktop OS support for a user regular activities like running an applications, playing games, web browsing, multimedia things. Okay, server actually provide a certain services to the client either by installing some application or built-in features. Okay, so what are the different type of servers based on their providing a services? DHCP server, DNS server, VPN server, web server, file server, mail server, authentication server, proxy server, remote desktop server, and deployment server. Actually, there is another explanation of these servers are there. Okay, so yeah, there are a lot of explanations are there. So servers and services. Okay, different type of servers and servers and services like this is. Okay, so what makes a server and what is the Active Directory? what like this is the information is also there. So we'll go through that one. So either I will go to Windows 10 information or a server information. So we'll try this operating system related information. Okay guys, now take a break, 10-15 minutes of break.